Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we will be covering the 4 simple steps you need to go through in order to automate your very own trading strategy, have your own very own personal trading bot slash assistant. Alright, stick around till the end guys, because in this one we will be doing something very special. I will be, while I'm walking you guys through this, giving you guys my own personal strategy that is responsible for generating like at least 25,000 or more in trading profits. All right, that I automated. Right, so as I'm teaching you guys these steps, I'll be kind of going through how I did it for my very own strategy, and kind of show you guys what that looks like. So it's a very special video, very special story, as well as if you guys do want to see more stuff like this, to be in a community of like-minded people, see more cool stuff, created a new Discord. You guys can join it. It's a very brand new, like I'll be giving away lots of bonus, like cool stuff, like more stuff like this to the very first people that join it. So Discord down below, email down below, you reach out to me, blah blah blah. All right, you guys know the whole things. All right, so all right, yeah, like I said, 4 simple steps to go through to like automate your very own personal trading strategy. So, right, so you trade and you decide for whatever reason that you want to automate your trading, right? But computers aren't like humans, right? So you do need to go through what I consider to be a certain process in order to get your algorithm, get your trading style, whatever it is you call it, your strategy, like ready to be coded and into a computer, so that the bot can make trades for you, or your algorithm can trade for you, right? All right, so yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So what's the first step? All right guys, the first step, in my view, and you'll see why this matters later, the first step is you need the first step is you need to simplify and understand, really understand like what it is that your strategy does, right? So in this, I'm gonna put simplify. Oh god, if the spelling is off, forgive me. I'm more math than language, I guess, or neither, but you never know. But lol. But yeah, I mean, simplify and understand, right? And why is this important, guys? I also spilled some goddamn water on my keyboard. But yeah, all right, simplify and understand, right? Because you have your own my end keys, like, so simplify and understand, right? You have your own strategy like in your head. You probably already trade it, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean you understand it like enough to put it in a computer just yet, right? Because computers work in a very specific way, and I'm gonna like go ahead kind of with like my own little tale, like of what I mean by this. So when I started trading, right, and I'm gonna show you guys a video here in a second. When I kind of started trading, I had my little strategy and it was working, and I was like, okay, I want to put this in like a algorithm. But because I know and I have the experience, of being a developer, coder, whatever, for like 10 plus years, I knew that I had to, like understand it in a very specific way, right, to be able to explain to a 5-year-old. And for that, I needed to understand it like really deeply. I couldn't just be saying like, oh, like buy RSI, or buy, like the 10 minute, the 3 pair Bollinger Band, or like none of this stuff. I really had to understand like what I was doing, so that I could make the simplifying assumptions that I would need to do if I had to explain to a 5-year-old, which is what you have to do when you are putting it into code, or giving it to a coder to code. All right, which again we'll cover in a little bit. So let's kind of like let's walk through kind of like how I did it, so you can kind of understand what I mean. So right now I'm going to show you like a little video that I made, like back in my earlier days trading, where I was kind of like doing a strategy. It was more or less working, right, and I want to automate it. But the first thing I did, and I had the intuition to do this, right, I had the intuition to kind of I think I was maybe sending it to my friend. I just kept it. I don't know if it ever went out, but like had the intuition to kind of record like what I was doing, what I was thinking, like in those moments, so that later I could look back and like know exactly what it is I was trying to get the code to do, right? So I'm gonna play this video for you guys like real quick, to kind of just show you like how I kind of spoke to myself. And this is like my trading notes here, guys. I still do this to this day. I'm like taking lots and lots and lots of notes, but for this very specific algorithm I'm showing you, this is the kind of stuff I was doing, kind of documenting myself, as I was, you know, developing this strategy, right? Boy, it's so today, like just reinforcing like what I was saying earlier today, like the good trades today, like the ones that like really came through were like, yeah, listen to your ideas, but again, and as you guys can see, guys, this was like a 5K profit trade, right? So I was always like, whenever a trade really worked, I knew that was like what I was trying to capture. I always kind of documented it, and as you can see here, like I'm like I'm just trying to like more deeply understand like what it is the strategy does. Market's ideas are better. It was like, and I'll show you guys the strategy. I think I caught um like maybe there were like three or four like major upticks today. I feel like I caught like two at like all time highs. Like the market is still going, it's still going up. Like hopefully, and tomorrow will be another day to like trade. Hopefully, make some money as well. But yeah, like just to reinforce it, like uni was like so sluggish. I was trying to squeeze the fucking 5% out of that, like just to get it there from where like Lincoln delivery. I was so mad at myself because I like split the risk and I didn't have to, and it was like a mistake of mine that made it worse. So I was being patient. I tried not to get like too frustrated or anything. Then I was like, yo, this thing is like when I saw the highs happening and like uni not breaking the numbers that I need, I was just like, yo, this thing is never gonna break it. Like I'm gonna back holding this shit till like shit goes down or like forever, right? And I was like, yo, what like follow what you said, your own advice today, which is like, listen to the market, and like went on saw what ones were kind of like going off. Like, needless to say, I'm kind of feeling like a genius there, but like I'm not like anyway. Finished there, like saw what was popping off, and like within instantly, I got the 3% delta that I needed from like Neo, right? Which is like Neo itself is like a crazy trade. I didn't even know about this kind, right? It's just like it's funny, like faster than I could like calculate the numbers that I need to auto sell at to like lock in the profit. Like Neo was jumping like faster than that, so I was just like, yo, this thing is nuts. And it is nuts. I think it's up like 30%, like for like a long time. But yeah, I don't even know what the fuck these guys are on. But anyways, super pro today. Needless to say, I feel like a genius, but everybody feels like a genius in a bull market. But I can say for sure. All right, guys. So I mean, this I don't wanna like bore you. Maybe skip to the. Just want to like lock that in. Like biggest takeaway from today. Like listen to the market. You have great ideas. The market has better ones. All right. I specifically stopped there at like that particular clip because at that point, at that moment in time, like you hear like a lot of thoughts going on in my head. There's nothing about like automation or even like a clear strategy in that year, but like um, I was like ingraining myself, like I was ingraining to myself like what it is that I like actually do, right? And a key point there that will come back later in the future is something that I said is that like I have great ideas, the market has much better ones, and that really mattered like later on when I was like automating it because like you guys will see. All right, so the first step is really like in a notepad, and I'm going to show you guys a notepad that I had as well. In a notepad, this is what I did. In a notepad, in a write it down if you're more comfortable writing, right? Like just write down like what you're write just write down like what you're doing, like what your thought process is for your trade, because maybe you have a strategy but you don't know exactly what it is yet. And so this is what this kind of step is kind of about, like understanding your strategy so much to the point where you can like simplify, like simply like understand like what it is you do. Because trust me, if you don't understand very clearly what it is that you do, that you can explain it to a 5-year-old, then trust me, there's no way you can automate it and get a computer to execute it. I guarantee, I promise you that. All right, so the first step is simplify and understand. Now the second step, and I'll bring back this notepad here actually because this is very important. This is by far the most important step, right? this step I'm about here, which is to document what it is you actually do, right? So don't guess, don't like go write it. Don't like when you're ready to give it to a coder, like give it to me or my guys. Like don't I do this, do that, do that. No, right? From the beginning till the end of like what you're doing, or at least until like you take the trade, right? Write down the actual steps you actually take to that point, right? Like what it is you're looking for anyway. So that's this is the step two and the most important step, which is document. I wish I could get more space here, but I don't think this up here will be that nice to me. Um, uh, eh, let's see, document mint actual steps to trade. All right, let me just put a full stop here so you guys know that's where that point ends. Right, and this is by far the most important step. And what do I mean by this? All right, so again, I like come back with the examples of like what I did when I was going through this. You guys saw this notepad of mine earlier, right? This was and it's so funny. I had to go dig up this notepad. This notepad is like I don't. This notepad is from a very long. I wrote this like a very long time ago, right? And I haven't needed it really since, but I needed it then when I was really, going through step one and then to step two, which is like document, right? This is a notepad I wrote. Just make sure this is all going on fine here. Sound is good. Perfect. All right. Yeah, this is a notepad that I actually created, and this is what you have to do, right? Like open up a notepad, right? Like open up a notepad, like jot down your thoughts, and then open up another notepad and document the actual steps that you do, right? This is a notepad I took. When I was actually taking a trade, you can see I was doing a trade here, like in this notepad, and I actually like went through it. This is the moment I actually decided, okay, I'm definitely like gonna like automate this. I'm definitely gonna like get it in a strategy, right? As you can see here, I said in the notes, made 5K in like 5 minutes. That's actually what happened in this trade, right? And then like from that point on, I was kind of like, oh, so, all right, I'm gonna like capture this, and then I went through, and I'm gonna do it right now with you guys. Actually, I went through like the actual steps that I did to take the trade, right? I think I kind of like go down it here, or maybe I simplified it, but I go through like the actual steps I went through to take the trade, so that later on, I would use it. And this was the biggest thing I ever did, right? Like I can't begin to explain like how important it was that I actually did this, because like this clarified like so much for me, as well as made it so simple to know like what I was doing that was like working, which is a higher level concept in trading, but like the actual process of like what I went through to do it is so important. So this is kind of like what I did with this notepad. All right, so let me kind of explain the strategy note to you guys now that we kind of got here, right? So again, like going through the steps of like what it to do an actual trade. I think this trade here, I don't know if it was exactly that trade. Let me um yeah, so like but before I just kind of thought I was like calling, but then as I like like understood it more, and then I got to the process where I wrote it down. You guys can see here, I saw the price trending well over in the 24-hour and coin market cap, right? And you see here I write this as well, like new it's winner of the day, likability, stickiness. I put it in quotes because it's something very hard to capture in computer, right? It's a bit of intuition now, but you'll see why it matter what I said in step one coming back, right? Relative to other cryptos. So, and by the way, guys, I should say this, I'm doing cryptos and stuff right here, but this applies to stocks, bonds, like futures, like anything that you can trade. These are the steps that you want to go through in order to capture it in an algorithm, because you're going to have to know pass those instructions on to a coder like me or my team, right? Or I was gonna plug those shills, right? Or anybody else, or even for yourself, you're gonna have to do this. I had to do this for myself, and I knew I had that all that experience like coding, right? So yeah, you see here, I knew it's like wow. We knew it's a winner of the day, like stickiness type of thing. So I have this kind of like idea of stickiness of how high you can get. I said fuck it, so I really like strong trend, right? And then I see here, I'm looking for like a 5 to 10% like increase on something like that of that trading on whatever Yeah, and as you can see here, like some other notes. I'm gonna make this really simple, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna make this visual, right? They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I'm gonna make this really visual for you guys, right? What I do with it? Have to, okay, I didn't save it, so I'm gonna have to go back here. Um, this, right? Something like this. I think this was probably like that trade, right? This was either that trade or like I know I saved this for a very specific purpose, right? Because it kind of like captured the essence of that trade in a big way, right? And I think what was happening here on this one to kind of explain the strategy a little bit was I saw something trending, right? And like I kind of just had an intuition of like, oh, this can pop, right? And like like I whenever I saw that, so it's kind of like a momentum strategy, a trend strategy, if you will, trend momentum, however you want to call it, right? I'd like get in that if I thought there was a really good possibility that it could have like that pop, coming from like a very strong trend. So it is a kind of trend trade, and to kind of go over this exercise with you guys right now. Um, Document the actual steps now, which is step two. Document your actual steps. What I do is, right, guys, and this is the key. I'm giving you away the strategy again. This is a strategy that's like responsible for 25,000 plus profits easily, right? What and it probably still works to this day, to be perfectly honest with you, and I'm giving it all to you, and to kind of show you a bit of the back end as well, right? So let me make a note. Let me actually make a notepad here with you guys and just do the actual thing that I actually did. I think after I created that, right, when I was going to that trade, and so what I realized while I was trading was that like all right, I buy a coin, and then it was like, but what coin? And it was like, how do I even know all this, right? And then I realized what I do is oftentimes my step one is I was always watching I was always watching Coin Market Cap. Maybe I wouldn't go there to trade on that particular day or something. Maybe I just see something, but I was always on. I'm trying to. How do I light mode this thing? Ooh, it burns. All right. I was always on Coin Market Cap, like looking out, like what was happening, right? And so I'd see these different tokens, these different coins, these different cryptos, right? And I'd have an understanding of kind of like how they're behaving, how much the market likes them, like how much they're up versus down, like what are they doing today, where is the market at, right? And this was all pertinent information going into my trades. But when I went now to again back to step two, document your actual trading steps. What that kind of looked like more or less is I get up, I go on current market cap, right? So to go in step one, go current market cap, right? And then two would be like look at most up 24 hours, 24 hours, right? Like just like this, like just like I'm showing you guys right now, right? And oh no, I don't want to save it. Okay, right? And then I'd also be looking at how the market is, anyways, I'd be looking at like what's kind of like most up. I'd see something, so where that's like Solana or Luna. Shout out Luna, it no longer exists, but it was really great for trades, right? All my guys know, right? And I'd see that, right? I think it was this year. Actually, I don't think this was Luna, but shout out Luna anyways. I don't remember what that was, right? And I'd look and I'd see, all right, this thing is like up, the most on like a 24-hour basis. And what I'd say to myself is, based on what I kind of know about the market, I, I have to simplify it. Anyways, based on what I know about the market, do I think this thing has more legs, right? And I'm used to seeing like, it being up like somewhere between like 10%, 20% more or less. So if it was below, um, a certain amount, right? Or at my specific time, right? I just buy it, and like I know it like continue that like run for the day if we were having a good day, right? So I again to document. I'm just making a quick example here for you guys, right? Of how this is how you're gonna have to do it if you're gonna give it um to a programmer, because they're gonna have to understand the steps that you go through to do your thing, right? And you're not gonna be able to. It's much more hard than you understand to like to RSI and the like like RSI and the 3 minute, but like trust me, like once you start getting to like all the fancy stuff, it's very complicated, which is why it's super important to actually go through like and document the steps that you're actually doing, right? So I think I go to car market cap, look at what's up most like 24 hours, um, and then I just buy what's at the top, right? Buy what's at the top, right? And I set a stop loss for like my take profit would be like if it moved within like 5 and 10%, then I take profit. The TP at 10 or something like that, right? And a stop loss at like 5 or something like that. So half what I was trying to get, right? At 5. Let me see. At 5, and that's a 5% loss from where I bought it, right? And that was it, that was it. That when I like, but I only could see that like when I actually like went through the steps, because before I was like when I went to code I was just like, oh wait, how do I know all these like tokens again, like where do I get it from, like how do I know which one to like buy on the day, which one is like going up and down, right? And it's like I had to like go through that process of like just seeing what I do on a day, which is like what I was doing in this notepad here, right? To actually see what I was doing. No, actually, I think this trade actually went off at 5:22 a.m., which is not actually the time that I trade. And actually, I'll tell you guys as well. I'll tell you and I'll show you guys here. You see, I have a database of trades here. Actually, this is a it's a big database with a lot of trades, not just from this strategy I'm showing you guys, but a lot. This is over a thousand for sure, like over 2,000 plus records. Which, if you guys want to see more cool stuff like this, again, like join the Discord. I'll be like dropping stuff like this. But again, for the very first couple of members, we'll be getting most of the cool stuff, right? Yeah, as well as obviously you want your own thing automated. Me and my guys will be here. You can talk with us about like how you do that. But yeah, so I'll be where was I? I'll be you know I my thing was that like I took that one in the night, right? But like most of the time when I realized what I was doing, I was actually taking those like in the day. Crypto is kind of a weird, I say, kind of like currencies, I think, a little bit, where you do have a long 24-hour cycle. But like I said, it's the same thing if you do trading stocks or whatever. You want to take note of all these small things. So I'm just going to put in bracket here 10 a.m., right? Because that would be the time that I was like buying these things, right? Right, uh, and as you can see here, I didn't have a I wanted to have a longer video, but I don't think I was videoing so much. I was just doing it so much that it's a little video of what it was looking like as it was taking a trade, right? This is like on Binance, I think. I don't know why I did this. I was just looking back for it. As you can see, it's doing it like automated. But what it would do, it would sleep. I don't know if you can see that down there at the bottom. Sucks because it looks like we actually lost this one, but it proves the point what I'm trying to show you guys. It'll actually sleep until like that time, so it would automatically wake up at 10 a.m. if I couldn't wake up and take the trade, or if I was away. And there are crazy stories about that. I remember there was one time when I was like actually I was awake very early on actually, but then I had to leave and go to some government agency type place, whatever. And it was only like when I got there, it was just like, oh shit, like I'm not gonna get to trade today, and I totally forgot that I had this thing running, right? And then like midway, like while I was there, I went to check the markets and I saw that I was in a trade. I was like, what the fuck? And and then I was winning. Like it was up, and I could see that it would like work on that day, and it did work, and the bot traded for me that day. And like it made profits on that day, and like I totally forgot, right? And so that's like one of the crazier moments, like when you actually see it. All right, so but that's step two, and that was again like a really crucial component here, because again, you have to talk to a computer in a uh, to get from your strategy to it to be automated, right? You have to know very very clearly what it is your strategy does, because computers aren't like humans, right? The computers talk in a very and this is the way you want to write your strategy, your instructions, right, if you will, right? Your document. The computers work in a very, if you're doing it properly, in a very like uh uh you know like, I don't have a perfect word, but like affirmative thinking way, right? So like you wanna write this down as in like, okay, um this should be what you're looking at to go into a trade, right? In the sense that like you wanna how do I say it? I don't want to. You want to be very clear and specific about what things you do to get you into a trade, and then like if that's not happening, then you're not in a trade, because that's the way you want to develop your trading algorithm, right? So again, step one, you want to simplify and understand it for yourself. Step two, you want to do an actual trade, so just on a day like when you are trading. And this is so important. If I didn't do this, I would have wrote something that I thought I did was, which was probably a lot more intelligent. People like, but that's not what worked, right? And so like it was very important that I like, like what I was actually doing for the trade. I actually like just followed, tagged along myself, and like wrote that down in like a text or a notepad or something like that. And I was able to capture it like that, right? And so yeah, that's step two. Like document your actual steps to a trade in a notepad, right? Like so you can write this down, or you can put it in a notepad on your computer or something. The actual steps you go through that get you into an actual trade, from wake up or like whatever to to when you're actually like in the trade. All right. Now step three. We just open it up here for a little bit. Step three. So I write this down for you guys. Step three is a bit of a a test, a check, right, to see if you did this properly. And I'm gonna call that can the trade manage itself, or I'm gonna call that like uh, TPSL check, right? Or you can call that trade management check, right? Trade management manage keyboard work with me management check, right? And you can kind of do this in your head, like as you write down your as you look at your documented steps. And the test is kind of this: looking at your documented steps or your trade, or looking at your trade, how you have it written down, right, in a notepad or whatever, right? Like, do you have to go back and like looking at those steps? Is there anything you have to add to the management like of that trade, right? And if you have to do that, then you want to go back to step one, or you want to go back to step one or step two, because you haven't made it simple enough for a computer. I'm telling you, computers don't have the sophistication of like humans. You don't get me wrong, you can write things in the management of a trade in a computer, but I promise you, like once it gets to that level of like a complication beyond just a normal take profit and stop loss, take take profit and oh god, stop loss. Once you get beyond like that level of complexity, like once you're looking at, oh, it's like a um what do I want to say? Let's go on my example. Let's say you close at like a 5% gain or a 10% gain. If you have to add as well, for example, like, oh, like it waits to see if the next bar from the bar where I bought, the next price from the next 10 minutes is like better or worse, or it looks to see if the moving average is above where I bought it in, like relative to the whole market or something like that. Like once you get into stuff like that, you can do it, right? But like once you get above the complexity of like, okay, I've written these steps down. Now I just have to define my take profit and my stop loss, right? If you can't look at the steps that you've written down and just say, okay, the only thing I need to look at now is my take profit and stop loss, right? And like what does that look like? It's not simple enough, right? I can't emphasize enough like how much computers are like a 5 year old. Like think about like the whole thing, like explain like I'm a 5 year old. Computers are just like that. Like once you get into even the most little bit of like complexity that you think is nothing, like I'm looking at the chart, and if the chart is looking sluggish, like, well, what is sluggish, right? And you have to define that to a computer. And like, if it's like if the I don't know, like if it doesn't bounce in like 10 minutes, well, what is a bounce? Like how much is like a bounce? And so it becomes you realize very quick, and that adds to a major complexity when you're writing code. And as a coder, when we have to do that, so like the third step you want to do when you're doing this is you want to do a check. You want to do a trade management check to see if what you wrote down can be boiled down to as simple as, okay, get out at a 10% gain, or get out at a 5% loss, right? If you can clearly define it by a take profit or a stop loss, what you can clearly see that in the steps that you wrote down, then you're on a good track, right? And let me see, do I have let me see if I have any let me see specific things I want to show you for that, right? Uh, yeah, all right, yeah. So this is a perfect thing. Like what I was saying before. Remember that video I was showing you guys? Remember this video here? This is why it seems like it's a little bit superfluous, right? But it's really important, like this video. I remember this video I was showing you guys, something that I said in the video.
Boy,
Something that I said in the video, was like, you have great ideas, the market has even better ones. Something that I said, as I was writing my notes was, I know it's winner of the day, like stickiness, the reliability, like whatever, and that's something that I used to do, right? But then what I realized is that, like, more often than not, like, even sometimes this is like, except sometimes it would be like this, obviously, right? Like, where I just know this one can like pop up more because I know the market sentiment about it, or like whatever, or I just know this chart has some news on it or something like this. But more often than not, like 7 times or 8 times out of 10, and you have to make these trade-offs, like when you're putting your algorithm together, because it's not as smart as you, right? It can't just follow what you do exactly, right? It doesn't have your intuition, right? What I realized, even just from saying it, like in like that video, was that, like, more often than not, even with my own intuition about like what could work, 8 times out of 10, I was much better off just buying the thing that's at like the very top. It doesn't matter, right? Like, it doesn't matter if I know it, doesn't matter if it look like what's at the very top. That's the thing that's like most likely to win for that trade, right? And that's like what I realized, and that those are the types of like simplifications you have to make, which is like how I got to this part of like, just buy what's at the top, right? It sounds extremely simple, but that's the level of like simplicity you have to have, when you're dealing with a computer, and when you're going from, like, just having your thing that you do as a part of your process or your strategy, and having it into an automated trading system. All right, the simpler you can get it, the better. All right, so the third step is simplify, or the simplify check, right? To see if you can get that down to us, no management, right? Like, no management. If you can, the more you can get it down to that, there is no management in the trade. You just have your stop and your take profit, the better, right? And usually that looks like coming back to the very second step or the very first step, right? And creating more filters for yourself about what gets you into a trade in the first place, right? And then obviously, like, also what gets you out, right? And knowing, like, those numbers and that thing. So, right, the third step is simplify. So first step is you understand yourself, which is very very important, because you want to make sure the thing is doing what your strategy was set out to do, right? Like, when I get to these like arbitrary rules, like what just buy, like what's at the top, like what does that mean, right? And so I have to understand like what my strategy is intrinsically, so that when I say something like that, I understand that I'm making a trade-off on what's usually at the top of that place there with those specifics. Is something that's usually trending, right? And then the third step is trade management simplicity check, to see if do you have to manage the trade like once it's taken. If you do, go back to step one and step two and try and simplify it more, right? And that's the third step. Now the fourth step is, obviously, if you don't know how to code, give it to a coder, right? You give it to a coder, so you write all those things down, right? So for me, I'm like going, kind of giving out my strategy here, but I'm going, like, what this strategy is probably working right now. You probably could do it and probably, bank, right? I'm going to like the top of coin market cap at like 10 o'clock, right? I think I'll show you that, guys, there at like 10 o'clock, right? I'm looking at what's most up, so I'm just going there and I'm like clicking this thing here. I'm looking at like what's most up. Then I'm just like buying what's at the top, and I'm setting a take profit for a 10% increase, right? And I'm setting a stop loss for a 5% decrease, and that's it. And That's what it was automated. And like I said, guys, this strategy was responsible for upwards of 25,000 easy in trading profits. Actually, let me show you guys here and something cool that you can do. This I'll probably show more of this in like another video, when I'm kind of like showing how you can use the data like once you have it, right? Because you can, but once you have the data, you can opt. You can. What the thing is, like, once you have your trading bot, your trading strategy, your algorithm like running for you, and you have all the data from that, you can store a lot of the trades. You store the information, the logs on the trades, and then you have that data that you can use back. You can look at. Obviously, if your platform does this, it's cool, but you have a lot of flexibility also, like when you're doing that and you're creating your own trading system. So let's kind of like look at this let's kind of look at the performance of this thing for a little while here, because like I'm telling you guys, like, this is simple as it sounds. This strategy was extremely important, and like, so much so that when I started doing more complicated things, right, and those like working, and I turned this on again at a specific time, right, like, we had just incredible results. But I only got that, right, because I documented what I did, and I didn't guess, or I didn't estimate. So again, that step is just the most important. Document what it is you actually do, right? So uh, can I get time here? You see, I have my strategy ID, my trade ID, open time, close time, my win status, whatever it was trading at that time. I wasn't taking out these trades, so like I said, the bot was taking them, and you can see here, um, I think so. Let's start here. Let's start at like a positive, because I think um oh no, let me start at where like it looks like I scaled up some, right? Um all right, let's start here. Let's start like a good run, because I would you don't see the time here, but actually these are not like straight in consecutive, right? Like, there are times where I like stop running it, I started running it, and I remember there was a time where I started like running it, right? But obviously, in everything, you win, you lose, right? But the key here that was making me profitable with this strategy is that every time I won, I got like double what I lost, right? And you can be able to see it here. So let's start. I'm like uh let's I'm up 200, and I'm gonna simplify, because I the math is like, I can't calculate the math every time, right? But you be free to calculate your worries, do your calculating, right? I'm up 200 and 240. Okay, all right, now you know what, let's screw that 214. Like, I'm not about this calculator life. I'm calling this 250, because I remember I was trading in kind of break evens, right? And what um so you see, I'm 240 and 240, so let's call that 500. So I'm up 500, then I'm up 750, right? I want to click, but oh god, I don't want to, I don't want to, I want to, okay, all right, like, here, we'll start here, right? I want to, it's going to be hard to like calculate in these 100. I don't want to like go too low. All right, so I'm up I'm gonna call these like 250. That's what I was. Maybe there were fees over this, so like, maybe I was P&L, but I minus fees, right? So 250 plus 250, 500. 500 plus 500, that's 1,000. Then so I'm up 1,000, right? And I'm up 700, because you minus 340, or whatever. It's up 750, whatever. Um, 700 plus 5, that's 1,200. And I'm at 1,200, and this is you can see all the, anyways, I'll get to that. 1,200, then this is 700, so that's 12 plus 7, 19. Yeah, now you're 19. Ooh, math. 19. All right, 19. And then I'm just gonna like call this 19. I'm gonna call it 2, so I'm up 2.8 or 2.7, right? Let's call this 2.7, right? And minus 5, then I'm up to 2.2, right? Then I'm 2.2, then 2.2 plus 8, so I'm up 3. 3 minus 5, I'm up 2.5. Then we have $1,000 day here, to put us 3.5. 3.5 minus 5, we're at 3. Then 4, then 5, then 5, then we're at 4.5, because we minus 6. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, then we're at 6. 4.5, 5.7, right? 5.7, then we're at 6, what is it, 6, 6.7, screw it, 6.7, They were at 5.7, and then I think we had some losses then, and then I scaled down, right? So you can really see here I have all this data stored, and this is really powerful. Now, it's another thing about having your own automated trading system. When you have this all stored, you can actually like look back at data and like optimize things. So something really cool that I actually did actually, and you guys can see there, all my calculator warriors can see if you're willing to JavaScript out all my stuff there. Well, actually, I actually looked at it and I saw that there was actually a better time, not far off from the 10, but very close to it. That was actually like a better time to take these trades, and that like I actually end up winning more from a simple, like, I don't know, like 10, 50 minutes adjustment, right? And let's actually like, look at the code for this actually too. So you can see here, I don't want to make this video too long, but how long is it? Wait, it's already too long, right? But I this is the code for it here, right? And you can see here, just giving away the actual strategy anyways. So I had a specific time window to where I wanted to trade, and as you can see here, it would happen anywhere from, I think this is like 10 to 10:30, right, or something like that. And if it would, then it would like run the trade, and it's obviously storing us in our database, and it would do all sorts of thing. And you can see here is where it kind of like executes your order, and it's like looking for a gain of whatever percent. And and it would say it said its take profits and its stop loss, again going back to like that simplicity that I was talking about like earlier, right? What Knowing my take profit and my stop loss, having it down to that level of simplicity, what that created for me actually earlier is that like I was able to get much better executions when it was time to get out and get in, and I could obviously do different sorts of trades and optimizations there and that sort of thing. But anyways, yeah, so step 4 is, give it, once you have all your steps documented and you check that it's simple enough, you give it to a coder, right? And for that, you can join the Discord down below, right? Where I'll be, posting all sorts of cool stuff like this if you're interested in trading. And obviously we'll have other cool people there, they're like interested in that stuff, like me and you, right? But I'll also be there along with my guys who do have the experience of so many years developing, and can help you code your very own strategy. All right. But yeah, guys, this is a very long video, but I wanted to pack it with as much value as I possibly could, to kind of just show you guys the steps that I actually went through to code my very own algorithm. So it was simplify, document, check for simplicity, give it to a code, and that's how you get your very own from your own trading strategy. Hopefully you're already profitable and all that trading bot and trading strategy. All right, guys, but till the next one, all right, email down below, Discord down below, join both, send email if you want some cool stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.